Your cat is watching you right now, completely still. No movement, no distraction. Just their eyes on you, like they're processing something you can't quite locate. Most people shrug that off. Cats stare. It's what they do. But there's a specific reason behind that gaze. One that researchers spent years trying to isolate. And once you understand it, that quiet, unblinking moment between you and your cat is going to read very differently. There's something that consistently surprises people when they first encounter it. Your cat has been in an active conversation with you since the first day you shared a space. Not an accidental one. Not a vague one. A deliberate exchange built on its own internal rules and its own vocabulary. The distance between you and that conversation was never your cat being remote. It was the key being missing. Every moment you've spent misreading them, the dialogue was already fully in progress. And your cat was already fluent. Near the end of this video, there's a finding from a university research lab that will reframe something your cat does every single time you enter a room. You've almost certainly seen it happen. Dozens, maybe hundreds of times. But once you understand what's actually behind it, stepping through that door is going to feel like a completely different act. We'll get there. But first, let's look at what happens when your cat reaches out to you. Number 1. Has your cat ever just started grooming you? Not asking for anything, not in the middle of play, just licking your hair, or methodically working through the back of your hand like they had somewhere to be on that exact patch of skin. Most people file that away as affection, something warm, a little funny. The way a dog licks your face. A gesture, a moment, nothing more specific than that. But grooming in cats, the technical term for one cat grooming another, doesn't work the way most people assume. Research tracking the social behavior of domestic cats found that this behavior is tightly linked to familiarity and established social bonds. Cats don't groom strangers. They don't groom animals they merely tolerate or share a space with. This behavior shows up consistently between individuals who have built genuine social proximity over time. Your cat isn't doing this to any warm body nearby. The threshold is considerably higher than that. What that means is, when your cat grooms you, they aren't having a spontaneous warm moment. They are running a specific social protocol, one reserved for members of their inner circle, not residents, not pets, theirs. The closest word in cat social logic isn't companion or housemate, it's kin. And kin is a category that has to be earned. Every time your cat grooms you, they are, in the most precise behavioural sense, signing their name on you. But grooming is only the entry point. There's another behaviour, one most people either laugh at or find mildly confusing, that runs on the same logic and goes even further. Once you understand what's actually behind it, you won't file it under quirky anymore. Number 2. At some point, your cat has probably deposited something at your feet. A sock pulled from the laundry pile. A hair tie from the bathroom counter. A crumpled receipt from somewhere you can't even remember leaving it. They don't drop it and walk away. They set it down, then sit there watching you, completely still, waiting for something. According to behavioural observations of feline maternal instincts, mother cats don't simply feed their kittens. They bring prey back and demonstrate it. The delivery itself is part of the lesson. The kitten isn't just receiving food, it's receiving instruction. What researchers have observed in domestic cats is that this same pattern appears to carry forward into how certain cats interact with the people they live with. Your cat watches you every day. You don't chase anything. You don't hunt. You walk to a box, press something, and food appears from what looks like nowhere. From a purely behavioural standpoint, that reads as someone who was never taught the fundamentals. So some cats step in. There was a cat that dragged a full-sized kitchen sponge to its owner's feet every single morning for about 2 weeks. The owner would pick it up and return it to the kitchen. The cat would bring it back. Every morning. Same sponge. Same spot on the floor in front of the chair. At some point, the owner started tossing it across the room just to see what would happen. The cat retrieved it without hesitation. It stopped being about the sponge fairly early on. The context is what matters. Not every object your cat brings you carries the same message. When they drop something and go completely still, watching you, not moving, that's the closest thing to a demonstration. They're waiting to see what you do with it. When they drop it and immediately start vocalizing, looking between you and the object and back at you, they want a response. They've opened a conversation and they need you to answer. When they drop it and immediately start batting it themselves, that's different. That's not a lesson. That's an invitation. They want you participating, not watching. 3 separate requests. Same object in all 3 cases. The meaning shifts entirely depending on what comes after. Whatever they bring you, a toy, a sock, something that used to have a heartbeat, The object itself is almost beside the point. The point is that they had something, and they came here. If your cat has ever dropped something strange at your feet, leave a comment with what it was. You'll quickly realize you're in much better company than you expected. Number 3. Something to try, if you haven't already. Open your phone. Pull up a photo of yourself, a clear one, facing the camera. Hold it up in front of your cat. Most cats will glance at the screen and look away almost immediately. Some won't react at all, and it seems strange because they clearly respond to you in person. So what's missing? At close range, a cat's vision doesn't resolve fine detail the way ours does. Objects within roughly 10 inches or so register as soft and indistinct. But there's a second layer to this that tends to get overlooked, even past that close range limitation. Cat visual processing appears to be optimized for motion rather than still images. A photograph, even a large clear one, sits outside the range of what their visual system is built to prioritize. It doesn't activate the same recognition pathways that a moving person does. This is also, incidentally, why your cat sometimes seems to look straight through you when you're sitting directly in front of their face. But here's what that actually means for how your cat knows you. They aren't storing a picture. They've built something more layered than that. The specific rhythm of your footsteps in the hallway, the exact cadence of your breathing when you're asleep versus when you're awake, the sound of the particular drawer you always open, the weight of your step on different floors. Your cat has assembled a complete sensory map of you. Movement, sound, scent, pattern. No photograph could come close to capturing it. To your cat, you are not a face. You are a frequency. Number 4. There's a sound your cat makes that most people have heard dozens of times without ever registering what it is. Not the meow, not the purr. Something quieter. A short, rolling sound, produced with the mouth closed, lasting less than a second. Easy to miss entirely if you're not listening for it. It's called a trill. And when you track where it actually appears in feline behavior, something specific stands out. Mother cats use it with their kittens. It's the sound that means, follow me, stay close, this way. A directional call with high urgency and no aggression, built to move something small and dependent towards safety. As cats mature, this sound largely disappears from how they communicate with each other. Adult cats rarely trill at other adult cats. The contexts where it naturally occurs become narrower and narrower over time. Except for certain cats in one specific situation. When they see the person they live with, think about that sequence for a moment. A sound that begins as a maternal call, a bridge between a mother and something small that needs guiding. A sound that fades almost entirely as cats grow into independent adults. A sound that then reappears years later, directed at you. This isn't automatic. Cats don't trill at strangers. They don't trill at the neighbour who feeds them occasionally, or at most people who pass through the space. This behaviour shows up in specific, established relationships that have built up over real time, which means every time your cat trills when they see you, it was a choice. That sound isn't a greeting, it's a declaration. Number 5. In 2019, researchers at Oregon State University ran a study using a protocol borrowed directly from developmental psychology. The same framework used to measure how human children bond with caregivers. They placed cats in an unfamiliar room together with their owners. Then the owner left. What the cameras recorded during those 2 minutes wasn't chaos or indifference. The cats stopped exploring. They stopped engaging with the environment. In a room full of new objects and new smells, things cats are typically drawn to investigate immediately, most of them went still and oriented toward the door. They were waiting. The behavioral profile that emerged matches almost exactly what developmental researchers document in toddlers during early separations from a primary caregiver. The same suspension of exploration, the same withdrawal from the surrounding environment, the same orientation toward the last known location of the person they depend on. Not a loose comparison. The same underlying attachment structure, running in a different species. Earlier, we talked about what your cat is doing when they groom you. That deliberate, unhurried behaviour reserved for the members of their inner circle. That wasn't a separate observation. It was the first data point in the same picture. The cat who marks you as kin in a grooming session is the same cat who stops moving when you leave the room. These aren't two isolated behaviours. They are two expressions of a single bond, one that runs, according to the research, considerably deeper than most people ever think to look. You don't need to decode every signal. You don't need to get the language right every time. Your cat already made the determination, long before this video, probably long before you started paying this kind of attention. To them, you are not a caretaker. You are not a provanker. 5 behaviours. 5 points in a conversation that's been running since the day your cat arrived. not 5 quirks, not 5 accidental outputs from an animal operating purely on instinct. The grooming, the objects they place at your feet, the way they track you without moving, the sound they bring back specifically for you, the stillness they fall into when you leave. None of it was background noise. All of it was a directed signal. The only thing missing was the translation. That's what this was. If one of these moments landed differently than you expected, if something you've seen your cat do 100 times just shifted in meaning, leave a comment with which one it was. Not because it needs to be logged somewhere, because someone reading that comment tomorrow might be sitting with a cat they've been misreading for years. And that one line might be the thing that changes how they look at what's right in front of them. If you want more of this, subscribe. New videos go up regularly, and the next one builds directly on what you now understand. This video looked at what your cat carries, what they know about you, how they hold it, how they reach toward you with it. The next one runs the same situation from the other direction. It covers what you do every day. Specific, ordinary behaviors your cat is reading in real time and interpreting in ways that have nothing to do with your intention. Some of them are reinforcing exactly what you'd want. Some are sending a message you never meant to send. There's one in particular, something most people do almost automatically within the first few minutes of walking through the door. That cats register as a clear social signal, and almost no one realizes what it communicates. That's the next one.